What's going on, everybody? Happy day 6. Let's get all set up. And I'm going to kick things off. Day 6, we are talking about rebirth. And we're going to try to go live with this on Instagram on desktop. Perfect. There we go. There we go. Looks like it's working. Um, that's new. Cool. So, um, let's talk about rebirth. Let's talk about reinventing yourself. Let me actually cut this phone since I don't need it. Well, I'll leave it up just in case Instagram crashes. But there's gonna be times in your life where you're gonna enter a new phase. You're gonna do a new thing. You're gonna enter your next evolution. You're gonna go after a new job. You're gonna go after a relationship. You're gonna go after a business. You're gonna go after shit that you currently believe you're maybe here and the next level is here, right? It's like a step, it's like a staircase. And one thing that I tell my clients all the time is shifting what happens around you. It's shifting your environment. It's shifting all the things that you know is your current reality. And you start shifting the things that you're so used to, you're so accustomed to, and that allows you to see the world from a different perspective. It allows you to see yourself from a different perspective. Um, and it's one of the most healthiest things that you can do because what happens is when you guys struggle with getting to that next level, it's because you see yourself as a current identity, and that current identity either serves you or it doesn't serve you. Or maybe it has served you up until this point, but it no longer serves you from getting to the next level. Good morning, bro. I'm glad Instagram's actually coming through today. Um, So, what needs to happen is when you guys are building the next version of yourself, you have to create a very clear picture of what this future self looks like. You have to create a very clear picture of who it is that you're in the process of becoming. Why is that important? Well, if you don't know who you're in the process of creating, if you don't know this sage version of yourself, the most powerful version of you, if you have no idea what that person thinks like, how that person operates, what they feel like when they wake up, how they feel when they go to bed, how they spend their day, how they treat their family, how they experience things throughout their day and in the world, it's very difficult to ever become them. One of the things that I've always practiced is learning how to channel this version of me, this sage version of me, this future self. And through meditation, it's learning how to operate as that person today. So for example, okay, so let's be let's try to make this as tangible as possible. Let's say the future self is never not angry. He has a lot of emotional control. And he doesn't just fire off on people because he gets cut off on the freeway and shit. But the current self pops off on people, has no emotional control. And if somebody cuts them off on the freeway, they're angry and they're holding on to that anger throughout the day. If I were to start anchoring myself and envisioning a future self that doesn't do that and really emotionally connecting to that self, what happens is when stupid shit happens throughout the day, but I am 100% emotionally connected to the future self, what happens? Now I'm aligned. So I get cut off. And I'm like, well, I'm thinking and operating and feeling as my future self. And the whole purpose of this is for me to become them. So I'm getting cut off. Now I have a different decision I need to make. Am I going to get angry? Am I going to get upset? Am I going to react the same way I normally would? Or am I going to choose to react and respond as the self that I'm in the process of creating? You see what I'm saying? Let's see if let's pretend that you are you're terrible with your love life. You're terrible with the relationships. You always go into those like bad relationships, toxic relationships you know you shouldn't be getting into. You get with people that you know you shouldn't be getting with. Um and so you do the same exercise, right? It's like, every weekend I go to the bar, fucking find somebody, hook up, and then fucking that's it. But I want to be married. I want to have a loving relationship. I want to have somebody I can trust. Again, you do the same exercise. You go, you meditate, you anchor yourself to the future self that is happily married, full of loyalty and love, and protector, provider. Doesn't wanna sleep around, doesn't want any of that shit, like, truly wants to create a family, and you emotionally connect to that person. When you bring that person back to the present, what happens? You don't even really wanna go out. You're just like, "Ah, well, that version of me doesn't even fucking go out on Saturday and go to drink, so I guess that's not what I'm gonna do." Well, what the fuck am I gonna do? What am I gonna do on a Saturday now? I guess I'll go for a walk. I'll go to the fucking park. Is that what I'm gonna do? Fuck it, I'm gonna go to the park. And because your decisions have shifted and changed, you're like, I'm just gonna, I guess, spend my day instead of going to, if I can get drunk and spend my whole day drunk, I'm gonna go to the fucking park. You go to the park, and for some reason, because you're in an entirely different environment, you bump into somebody there. That's not a that's not there to party. That's not there to get drunk. But maybe she's also there because she loves nature, because she loves like the environment. And because you changed your environment by changing your thought process and your decision making process, you've now entered this new world where now you bump into different people that can potentially get you and give you what it is that you're looking for because you started becoming who you needed to be to attract those people. Everybody tracking? Does that make sense? It's pretty straightforward. The thing that happens is when you guys start practicing things like that, the logical mind says, "Well, I can't, dude. Like, the fuck are you talking about the future self? What are you talking about the sage self?" And I'm telling you guys, this is why I don't talk about a lot of this shit like front and center because a lot of people are like they're too close-minded to believe that the mind is so powerful that you can 100% shift who you see yourself as. I'll give you a live example. Doing this shit on camera, if you guys looked at my videos, if you go to my Facebook and you go look at my previous fucking videos, 2019, I didn't sound like this. I didn't talk like this. I didn't even have confidence to talk about things because I didn't know what was valuable or what the fuck I would be talking about in the first place. Now I just don't give a fuck because I know that I've elevated in my life to a certain level, and anybody else that can say anything to me must be at a higher level than me. And those are the only people I listen to anyway. So it doesn't even fucking matter. The thing is, in 2019, the version of me was still stuck in the old ways, was still stuck in this mentality of, well, what if I get judged? Or what if I don't say the right thing? Or what if I sound stupid? Or like, why the fuck am I even going like out of all the people in my social circle, Phil is the guy that's going to be online. How the fuck is that going to work? All of these things were my current identity. Over time, what I had to do to change, to shift, was to reinvent myself. I had to go through multiple rebirths. I had to go through multiple times where I had to shed the self that no longer served me. I had to go through multiple times where I had to look at myself and ask myself, is this the version of me that I need to be to get what it is that I want to create in life? And the answer was fuck no. Fuck no. But the beautiful part is within that current self, within that current identity, there are also characteristics, character traits that did serve me. The messy action, like even though I was very unconfident, even though I was in my head a lot, even though I was worried about judgment, I was still taking messy action, and that I could celebrate as a massive win. Because even with all of those flaws, I still took action. That's what actually most people don't do. Most people feel those things and then never take action. I can feel those things and still take action and be like, I don't fucking know what I'm doing, but I'm going to do it and I'm going to figure it the fuck out. Over time, what happens is it builds your courage to continue doing the hard things, even if you're not entirely sure what the fuck you're doing. And that courage breeds confidence in you. That confidence is where you start trusting yourself. It doesn't mean that everything is perfect. It doesn't mean you're doing things at the level where it's just like a seamless delivery. But now you have this trust in self, which is what the definition of confidence is. And confidence now, as you maneuver through life, you become more confident because you know that you got you at the end of the day. You know that you got you no matter what happens, whether you're trying and you're failing or whether you're succeeding. You got you. You're good. You can rely on you. And I think this is the process that if more people really understood the concept of reinvention or rebirth, you would be able to achieve whatever the fuck you want in life so much faster. You would be able to achieve literally what you want in anything. Like, think about anything that you want in life so much faster if you allowed yourself to see yourself from a totally different perspective. I think people really are programmed to believe that like life and experiences are one way. People really do believe that once you are a certain way, you're stuck on that path. But what if it's like this? Okay, bring it all the way the fuck back to us being kids. Okay, when we were children, our imaginations were like at an all time high. I don't know about you, but I played with action figures and shit. Pillows were big ass walls. Couches were like these massive arenas, and puddles were like an oceans I'll slam the toys into. Okay. So we have these massive imaginations, and we're like, ooh, I can emotionally feel happy because of my imagination and doing these things. Okay. I want you to imagine yourself as like Legos. Okay. My wife is going through a Lego phase right now. So we're going to use Legos. So, Legos, imagine yourself as a Lego. You can build yourself however the fuck you want. You can use whatever colors that you want. You can use the small pieces, you can use the big pieces. You can put fucking clothes on that look cool. You can swap out the clothes. You can be an astronaut, you can be a cowboy, you can be Darth Vader, you can be a fucking Darth Vader astronaut. You can be whatever the fuck you want. The question is, what do you want to build? If you were to create the perfect you, what would you build? What pieces would you use? What color would those pieces be? Would you make it like a miniature fucking Lego? Or would you build like a life size Lego? Would it be medium? Would it be like a whole fucking village? What would you create? That's the purpose. If you don't know and you're like, that exercise sounds stupid, you're stupid because you're literally living your life like a zombie thinking that you have to be the current way that you are. And I don't know about you, but no matter what level I get to, I know that there's a next level that I can accomplish. How you experience that is what needs to shift because you're going to get there eventually, hopefully. I don't know. Most people apparently live life until they're unhappy in life because they're not doing the things to change their environments. Like, look at my fucking hair. Just yesterday, I was like, I don't like my fucking hair. I was like, I haven't had this fucking type of hair since the military. I was like, you know what? Let me just fucking shave it all off. I like this video of me and my barber. He comes through, and I'm just like, yeah, you fucking shave it off, bro. Shave it off. I don't fucking want it. I'm like, I think this is the better look. There was a time in my life as a kid, and I don't know if this was just me or whatever, but my haircut was like, oh, if I don't get the right haircut, people are gonna look at me all fucking stupid. Now I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. Just wanted a shorter hair. It's a little colder today, but fuck it, And maybe next year you're gonna see me with a long ass fucking mane again. I don't know. Um, you have to learn to have fun with your life. You have to learn to have fun with whatever that you're doing because if you're not happy, if you're not good with like anything in your life, you have to know you have the power to change it. You have to know that if you just decided right now that you're just like, man, I'm kind of like fat and I have titties. And I literally had, you guys have seen the videos. Go to my Instagram. I put on a dad bod. I didn't even know. Me and my wife were looking at the pictures. And I was like, babe, why the fuck didn't you tell me I put on so much weight? And she's like, I swear I didn't even notice that you put on that much weight. Boys, it's probably real. It's probably because they're so in love with you that they don't even see that. They don't see that shit. Because I looked at it and I was like, I had a fucking egghead. And and then we were looking at, like, pictures of, like, me with the dad bod versus me now, and I'm like, "Okay, so I definitely put on weight. Definitely." I don't know why we both didn't see that, but I chose to. Simply, I said, "I don't want this anymore. I'm going to change it." And then I committed to changing it, and it changed. Took a little bit of time, so the time delay is what you guys gotta get used to. After you make the decision to change, there's a time delay. For example, if I shave my hair, there's a time delay to get it back, or there's a time delay for me to get used to the fucking wind making me a little bit colder than usual because I don't got fucking hair. There's a time delay. You guys start your business, there's a time delay. You're like, "Hey, I'm gonna fucking go all in. I'm gonna go crazy on this shit." There's a time delay to see the fruits of your labor. You go to the park to find that, or to find yourself. There's a time delay because you have to find yourself first to then attract your perfect partner. There's so many things that you have to do that you have to remember. There's a time delayed attached to the very thing that you're just going to change. Now you have to learn how to embrace the process. Now you have to learn how to just live, like just live life. And I think that even for me, because I'm guilty of this shit too, at every level, sometimes I just start living in my fucking head. And sometimes, most of the time, that's a good thing. Like I create my world. Like how I experience my world is like what I create in my mind. It's literally how I experience the world. It That's why I live a very, peaceful life, because I just create, and then I can remove. I can literally do whatever the hell I want. My whole life is a fucking Lego land. I don't know what Legoland is, but I would assume if it's like Legos and it's a land, you can move things around, and that's what I do in my life. When you guys are at the position where you're like, "I just want to experience life in a way that makes me the happiest," it requires you to sit with yourself, just like I do. Like, I probably do this exercise every, probably, quarter, every half year, every year. It really depends on the season that I'm in. Don't feel like you can only reinvent yourself like once a year. Don't think that you can only reinvent yourself once every couple years, or after a tragedy, or after like a massive fucking win or whatever. If you realize and become aware that the current state that you're in doesn't serve you, you can choose in that moment to reinvent yourself. You can choose in that moment to go through the process of rebirth. And maybe next week you wake up and you're just like, damn, I made those changes. Damn, I did that thing. And I'm really just still not happy. You can still choose again to go through the process again. The only thing that's going to hold you guys back from reinventing yourself into a version of you that serves you is your judgment of yourself. You're gonna be like, "Oh, well, fuck. Are people gonna judge me? Like, I just did this whole thing. I just turned my fucking hair purple, and now I'm turning it, blue? Aren't people gonna be like, 'Yo, what's happening here? Why are you doing that? Aren't people gonna judge me?'" Now, I would never fucking have purple or blue hair, but I need to give you guys a visual sometimes. Or, like, my style, fucking maybe I'm dressed up gothic one week, and then I dress like a fucking rock star the next week. I don't know. Maybe they're pretty similar. You guys get what I'm trying to say. Don't be afraid to change, because it's your life. Like, who gives a fuck? I think too many people are too involved in other people's opinions that they don't take the time to really ask themselves, well, what do I want? What would make me happy? What would make me good? And it's always like, and it's good to consider people for sure. But it shouldn't be such a consideration that you lose sight of you. Because if we're not us, if we're not the happiest versions of us, I guess what is the point? What's the point to all of it? Like, are we supposed to wear a mask? Are we supposed to wear false armor for our entire life? I don't know. I've done that for a long time, and sometimes, I do it again in, like, very short increments, but the beautiful part about now is I'm hyper aware of the moments when I'm just like, "There's something energetically off. There's something different." I know when I'm in flow state. I know when, like, I'm just, like, in the zone, and when you just feel like, you tweaked your shoulder, when you feel like, you have, like, this pain in your elbow, so when you go to the gym and, like, you push weight, you're just like, I can't push as hard because mentally there's something, like, hurting my arm and I'm distracted. When you guys feel like that in your life, realize that there's something that you're doing or there's something that you're not doing that's out of alignment with what would actually make you happy. And, it's very important that you guys do take the time to think about that stuff. I don't know about you. I don't have people to tell me this shit. I don't know about you, but like all of the shit that I consume in the world is always about just like pushing and fucking doing. And it's good. 100% take action. Do that 100% for sure. But there's also a balance of understanding self. There is a balance of knowing self. There's a balance of learning how to forge that version of you that can easily and effortlessly do all the time because you're in complete control and alignment with that version, with that you, where it's like nonstop. You don't even have to like try because you just know who the fuck you are. And I think it's very important to uncover that version of you, that person. And the only way you can do that is through the process of rebirth. The only way you can do that is through the process of removing whatever characteristics or traits that you currently have that you don't like. So here's the exercise, guys, because I told you we're going to be running 30-minute sessions moving forward versus full blown hour rambles. So that's why YouTube's my place. So if you guys aren't following me on YouTube, go subscribe to my YouTube if you want fucking rambles. Sometimes it's 15 minutes, sometimes it's 40 minutes. I don't fucking know. Um, but here's what I want you guys to do. This is a pretty easy exercise, okay? And remember, if you guys are doing the exercises I give to you after each of these, your life will change simply because your mind will change, simply because the perspective of the world will change, thus your life will change. And they're simple exercises, but they're not easy because it actually requires you to think. It actually requires you to invest the time. This is not just one of those things that you do and you just like try to rush through. Every exercise I give you guys has to be done with intentionality. It has to be done specifically to find the answer that you're seeking in your life, to find the key to help you unlock yourself. Has to be done with that level of intention. Okay. So here's the exercise. Very simple. I want you to grab a note paper, just some very basic note paper. Draw a line down the middle. Okay. And on the left side, as you look at the paper, what I want you to do is I want you to write down all of your perceived flaws. Okay. So, for example, if I was who I was back then, I would write, I am very angry. Right? I am very angry. And then under that, I am afraid of judgment. Under that, I lack confidence. I'm afraid of other people's opinions. I'm afraid that my family will have opinions and it'll hurt me. I'm this, I'm that. Whatever all these negative false beliefs are that you have about yourself, I'm ugly, I'm fat, I'm this, I'm that. However you see yourself. And it's about being brutally honest. Don't be that fucking one that's like, no, no, you should never call yourself that. You call yourself whatever the fuck you call yourself when you're by yourself. And if we're all being brutally honest, we call ourselves really bad things when we're by ourselves. The whole purpose of this exercise is for you to be brutally honest with yourself and then change it. So if you're not being brutally honest, you're like, you know, I'm all right. But in your mind, in your fucking head, you're like, "Nah, I'm kinda ugly." Like, call it out. That's called taking your power back in life. Denying yourself is what makes you feel ugly. When you're just like, "Yeah, I feel ugly." And then you're like, "But how am I not ugly? I'm a great fucking person. I'm awesome. I treat people well." And that's the most attractive thing. It's not about how I fucking look, it's who I am. And you're just like, "Oh, I'm not ugly." But you can't do that if you're just like, "I'm alright." And then in your mind, that voice goes back up and it's like, "No, you're ugly." I'm not that fat." And in your mind, you're like, "I feel fat as fuck. I feel fat as fuck." And then we shift that to for now, because I'm in the process of creating my perfect body and nutrition, which I'm going to execute effective February 6th, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. See, you can shift it when you're brutally honest with yourself. So on the left side, be brutally honest about how you feel about yourself. All of these different things in every single area. All of if you could dump all of your weakness into this left side, dump it there. But you must be brutally honest, and you must use the words that you use, because again, we all know we're brutal with ourselves. We'll never say it out into the world, but we're not we're more brutal with ourselves when we look in the fucking mirror. So be real when you do that. So that's on your left side. On the right side, I want you to do and you're gonna have to make space for this. You might have to get a couple pieces of paper, whatever the fuck. Do whatever you got to do. Maybe the right side will take multiple papers, so that way you have space. Okay, tape it together, make it pretty. Fucking project time. Okay, um, I want you to write down why those things aren't true. Okay, and again, it's gonna require you to dig, because what's gonna happen is the mind is gonna be like, "Well, I don't feel confident. I've never been confident, which is why I feel this way." And your logical mind is gonna continue to think that way. What you have to do is find proof in your life in those areas where you're like, "No, no, no. When this bear was about to attack my cousin who is 5 years old, I fucking stood in between the bear and my cousin, and I fucking screamed at the top of my lungs to be bigger than the bear." You know? And maybe in that moment, you experience that as like, "I'm so fucking scared. I'm not confident. I feel like I'm gonna die." And that's how you remember it. But the truth is that's what happened. You jumped in front of the bear to save your 5-year-old cousin, and then the bear ran away. You have to be able to, like, know logically, not based on how you experience that event, but the event itself, as if you're looking at it from, like, an outside perspective. Like, that's courageous. That's a very confident person. So you find proof in all of these things, right? Whether it's an act that you've done in the past to prove to yourself, or an act that you've done recently, or a plan in how you can fix it, right? So I have a dad bod. I'm fat. I have a dad bod for now, because effective February 6th, 6:33 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I am going to the gym, getting my nutrition on lock, all of these things, blah, 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 blah. So by end date, I will have dropped X amount of body fat. Thus, I am no longer fat. I've just been fat for now. What is this doing? It's allowing you to take control of your life. All of the things that are bad go to the left. All of the ways that that is not true goes on the right, or your action plan, so you can move forward. And what this is going to allow you to do is to see that everything that you don't like about yourself or your life, you can change. You have the power to change. The question is, are you going to spend the time to do this exercise? Or are you going to say, that exercise sounds stupid? And then you're going to go about your fucking day, and you're still going to be unhappy today, tomorrow, and the next day. The question is, what are you going to do? All right. I got to jump, guys. If you need help with this, feel free to text me, philbohol.com/contact. And yeah, I'm here for you guys. I hope these sessions really are helping. But my biggest hope is that you guys are actually doing the exercises. The exercises are the most important. Like, I can talk to you guys for 30 minutes or a fucking hour. But if all you did was the exercises I leave you with, or the thought that I leave you with, if you guys just did that, your life will change. Your mindset will change. Your perspective will change. Everything will change if you're willing to change your actions. And if your actions, again, current self would not do the exercise, anchor future self would easily and effortlessly be able to do these exercises because they're invested into themselves and invested into changing their life. Thus, your actions in the present time will change. There's my whole fucking lesson that I've been talking about this entire time. Act in alignment with your future self now. Your current self and your past self do not serve you anymore. Don't do it. And if you guys start operating in your life this way, just see. Again, just see what happens to your life. Just see what happens in your day. Just see what happens in your self-talk. See what happens in every area. Because you're going to stop going to the fucking bar. You're going to go to nature. And you're going to bump into and attract everything you've always wanted because you're starting to be who you've always needed. All right. So with that being said, guys, I'm a little over. Got to jump. Much love. Peace.